decade-long vision backed by $210 million in World Bank funding, the Freeport Health Campus is on the way. Ground was broken Tuesday for the brand new 57,000 square foot facility that Prime Minister Philip Davis celebrates as a priority achievement.
Today, as a bright future dawns for healthcare in Grand Bahama, we pay tribute. We pay tribute to the loss, pain, and struggle of the past. We give thanks for the community champions and healthcare heroes who helped this island and its communities overcome the many challenges to bring this island and the Rand Memorial Hospital and the various community clinics back to where we are today. At this new healthcare center, wounds will be healed, medical research will be advanced, lives will be rebuilt, and the Grand Bahama Health Services will be positioned to provide the highest standards of care now and into the future, as a long-awaited vision is now at last becoming a reality.
The facility will be built in 3 phases, the first of which is set to be complete in 18 months' time. With a 15 to 17-foot elevation, the facility will evade the flooding that dogged the Rand Memorial Hospital and accommodate a badly needed medical service in Grand Bahama.
Grand Bahama, this facility will have an oncology center. Very important, because I have seen it. On a Monday to Wednesday, our patients are traveling back and forth for chemotherapy, sometimes can hardly stand on their feet after the procedure. Those days will finally go away.
The government has committed to bolster this long-awaited development and the renovations of 41 clinics nationwide with a new and improved national health bill. It's a remedy that Prime Minister Davis is happy to administer on an island making its way back to good health.
I pray that this will be the site of many miracles of healing, where the sick will be made well, where broken bodies will be made whole, and where you will always know that you, our healthcare heroes, are in our prayers and in the hearts of the Bahamian people. May God bless you and God bless Commonwealth of the Bahamas.
Keeping you in the know, this is OPM Press Now.
Eckhart Tolle once said, "True change happens within, not without." While W. Clement Stone says, "You are a product of your environment." The Beautiful Grand Bahama program, initiated by this Davis Cooper administration, has demonstrated that it's also possible that as a man actively participates in improving his environment, he simultaneously develops the inspiration for true change within.
I'm so thankful, so grateful for this program. This program actually gave me a sense of hope.
I can truly say that it's done wonders for me and others.
While working with this program, it helped me to learn a lot of things.
We learned trade along the way. We learned discipline. It helped me take care of my family.
The importance of the program is to help people and to make the communities look much better than they were, from East End to West End.
And I'll truly say I'll be greatly appreciated if we could move forward and continue on with this program, because it's dealing with success. Success is the key.
They basically take half of the people off the streets to give a job so they can have something to do instead of acting into criminal activities and doing the wrong things that they shouldn't be doing.
Whatever they had going on, like, they put it aside, and it was amazing to watch. You know, like, guys just came to work, do what they had to do, and left.
It's a good thing because right now is, you don't even hear hardly no robberies, no murders, because everybody is off the streets doing something. They have something positive to do.
The fathers on the program, a lot of the men, the young men too, it was so good to hear them say, man, I was able to drop this money off for Lil Mama, and you know what I mean? So it's building back our young men's ego. It's keeping them away from the trouble. You know what I mean? Because most of the times, a reality is when persons can't provide for their families, they're going to take the next route.
It helped me take care of my family, So it was enhanced for me in every angle.
We've brought a lot of these young men and we've brought a lot of these single mothers in who can provide for their families. And at the same time with them doing that, they meet different persons on the program who might have been for, we have territorial wars and gangs going on in Grand Bahama. So now when you come together and you can see these persons coming together, and they learn conflict resolution. They learn a lot of things. So we see a big difference, and it's just good for me to get up every morning and go and just listen to the stories, and you see the happiness and you see the hope in the person's life.
I think what a lot of people don't know and realize is the person who's working in beautiful Grand Bahama. I had an opportunity to go downtown one morning, and when I sat there, I know a lot of the young men who are part of the beautiful Grand Bahama. I saw some in different gangs, and what stood out to me, there was a truck would pull up, and the rival gang actually ran on the truck and were saying go over. And they are known young men in Grand Bahama that I know, and they ran, and that truck has won. So beautiful Grand Bahama, for me, if we take this concept throughout the Bahamas, I think crime will go down.
The life of crime isn't good at the end. The ending isn't good, so we encourage them to stay on the job, continue to push. We encourage them to go and get their own license, that they may be their own entrepreneur.
And it helps me and my family a long way, because without it, it's no us.
The beautiful Grand Bahama program not only assisted persons with employment, on-the-job training, certifications, and removal of small offenses from permanent records, but also triggered self-improvement and inspired persons to look toward the future for positive change. It's the beacon of hope that can lead to positive change in persons, positive change in families, positive change in our communities, and a positive change for our Bahamas. Yesterday, I was clever, so I wanted to change the world. Today, I am wise, so I am changing myself. Beautiful Grand Bahama, transforming communities and lives.
The Office of the Prime Minister Press Office is the primary liaison between the Fourth Estate and the Office of the Prime Minister and Cabinet.
Every day, we are working to build a more inclusive economy and a stronger, safer country.
Hear all of the latest developments as the Davis administration carries out the broad mandate of progress and change. Our live weekly press briefings provide full access to current newsmakers on the most topical issues of the day. We facilitate prompt responses from cabinet ministers on the latest reports and get answers on the issues that matter to you.
Will any penalties be levied against the
OPM Press Now, keeping you in the know.
Good morning. It is a beautiful day in Grand Bahama, and we are so excited for everything happening for this island. If you are joining us live on the stream, you can see that we are not in our usual spot, and we're excited about it because we're in beautiful Grand Bahama, and we have so many exciting things to share with you. I'm going to introduce Press Secretary Clint Watson, who is going to give you our lineup of amazing guests today. Clint.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you, Jillian. Good morning to all of you joining us live on television or streaming, and to especially Grand Bahamians, a warm good morning. Thank you for your hospitality over the last few days. It makes it very difficult to go back to the Capitol, but you've been extremely gracious. Good morning to all of the media here local, and those of you who have come from the Capitol. It's been a very exciting week for Grand Bahama. The Davis Cooper administration is keen about keeping the Bahamian people updated on all that we're doing in the administration and what's happening around the country as far as development. There's been a lot going on in the Capitol, but governance and good governance in the Bahamas is not just about the Capitol, but about the development throughout the Family of Islands. And a lot of that is going on throughout the Family of Islands, and you hear a lot more about that, the development throughout the archipelago. But more excitingly, the focus today is on Grand Bahama and what's happening on this island, the transition that this island is going through, the development, the success that it's having, even with challenges, the success that it's having. And we're going to talk a little bit about that today. We will hear from the minister responsible for Grand Bahama, who will talk about what's been happening in Grand Bahama and what is to come for Grand Bahama, so you're aware of really what the radar is for the Davis Cooper administration when it comes to putting Grand Bahama where it should be to be able to prosper once again and succeed once again. We're also going to talk to Senator Kirk Russell, who's the Deputy Director for Urban Renewal and responsible for urban renewal on the island, to talk about what's been happening with that particular project and what's on tap for people who need to access the services that urban renewal has to offer. As is common for any of our major islands, a big part and a big pillar of those islands is tourism. And so we're going to get an update from Nuvalari Chattasing, who's a manager for events and groups, to talk about the rebuilding of tourism and the robust and the comeback of tourism on this island, and what are some of the challenges that are being experienced, some of the successes that are being experienced, so you understand where tourism is going. We already know Grand Bahama is doing well as the industrial capital, and so we want to find out a good part of that component is tourism that helps the economy come back. And so we'll talk a little bit about that. We have a couple of announcements, as we always do, from Prime Minister. And then, of course, we'll talk about some activities that are happening on the island over the next few days here in Grand Bahama, so that you can participate in some of the community events that are taking place. And then finally, I call it my favorite segment, because it's where we get to meet food vendors as we do in the Capitol. But today we're excited to have 4 of Grand Bahama's outstanding food vendors who are going to talk about their products, we're going to talk about their company, and of course, you here get to sample all that. I see y'all keep on glancing over here. You get to sample these wonderful goodies that they have. So we have an exciting packed press conference for you today, and so we're going to get started right away. I'm going to invite Senator Kirk Russell, because I know he has to go to an event, to come and just give us an update on urban renewal here on the island. And following that, we'll get ready to bring the minister on. Senator Russell.
Good morning, Bahamas. Good morning, Grand Bahama. Good morning, press. I just want to give a snapshot of what is happening on the island of Grand Bahama as it relates to urban renewal. First of all, I am pleased to announce to the people in West and East Grand Bahama that the Ministry of Urban Social Service and Urban Development will be in your area immediately, I should say. In West End, we are opening a new urban center, which will not only include urban renewal, but as well as social services, to ensure that the persons in West Grand Bahama, and particularly West End and the Boodle Bay area, the extreme west, that they are able to access all the services that are provided by both urban renewal as well as social services. One of the things that the Prime Minister was adamant about following the elections, and as it relates to the people in East Grand Bahama, is that we bring the weight of the government, that we bring the government to the people of East Grand Bahama. So I am pleased to announce that this coming Tuesday, the Urban Renewal and Social Services Office will be fully open in the High Rock area, which will provide services, both social services as well as urban renewal to the people of East Grand Bahama. So there's no there will be no need for the persons from Sweetingski, McLeanstown, Pelican Point, High Rock, Freetown to have to traverse miles and miles to come into the city of Freeport just to access basic services as it relates to urban renewal and social services. In the city of Freeport, throughout the island of Grand Bahama, we have 5 centers that are active in those various communities. 8 Mile Rock, Central in Lewis Yard, Pine Ridge, Marcos City, and East Grand Bahama. And in those centers, we conduct our regular programs for children. We are heavily involved with all the public schools on this island. One of the things we realized when we taught the public schools at the beginning of this school year was that, yes, the government provides the lunch program, but there is no breakfast program for those same children who are requiring lunch. And we all know that if you don't have that breakfast, your day can be really a challenge. And so our urban centers, under the instructions of the minister, we have been providing lunch for the public school kids who are on the lunch program. We provide the lunch direct to the school, as well as the children within the urban areas that surrounds the urban centers can actually walk to the centers and get a hot breakfast before they attend to school. In addition, we are busy with our seniors. We have a regular activities for our seniors, of course, our regular after-school programs and educational programs. On Grand Bahama, we have a wonderful marching band that is headed by the police department, Officer Sergeant Harris, as well as Corporal Ferguson. Those guys do, a magnificent job. The band is growing. I want to say that a few weeks ago we received a donation from Forbes Chatter, and I know he don't mind me saying so, for a bus, and so that bus should be on the road within days, so that we can do the pickups at the center there at Pine Ridge to ensure that all children on this island who wants to be a part of the marching band is a part of it. We are still looking for instruments. Of course, we have a donation coming of some major supplies of instruments, and so the band will continue to grow. Of course, we have a wonderful dance program as well at the center. But I know most of you press are here. You want to hear about those things, but you want to hear about the small home repair program. And so the small home repair program started off much slower than anticipated. And so we went back to the drawing board with the minister, and we came up with a wonderful program that we launched as a pilot program last week. And this program will cause us to really aggressively accelerate this program. We started the program in West Grand Bahama, and just to see how the program worked, and it is working, I can say, actually much better than we had anticipated. And so, yes, we have already assessed more than 500 homes on this island. Of course, we are also responsible for Bimini and Abaco, but since we're focusing on Grand Bahama today, we have assessed more complete assessment, more than 500 homes on this island, and there are much more that need to be assessed. Persons are still calling, and we welcome those individuals. The program will not cease. The Prime Minister and this government is committed 100% to a long-term program. We know that we are not going to be able to address all the concerns that are out there in a short period of time. And so the intent is to continue this program, not just months, but year into year. And so that is what we intend to do. So we are encouraging all residents that need assistance to continue to coming to the office there on Queens Highway to make application. Call the office 352-6166, and we will get our engineers, our assessors, our team from the small home repair team led by Mr. Kyle Stewart to you in the shortest possible time, and then we will guide you and direct you as to when your repairs will begin. But the program now is in an aggressive state. We are very pleased with it. This week we had Minister Raming and Chairman Stephen Dean who visited, and we were able to tour some of the projects in the West Grand Bahama, and they were very, very excited with what they saw. And the intention is to copy-paste this program throughout this country, because there is a need, as a dying need, a crying need, for small home repair throughout the length and breadth of this country. And so this pilot program will be copied, pasted throughout. And so the persons in East Grand Bahama, the persons in the city of Freeport who need assistance, rest assured that we are going to get to you. We continue to call us, continue to check in, and we will continue to check in with you. Right now, let me just say this before I take my seat. Right now, we are focusing on roof repairs. And the reason for roof repairs is that we are trying to do as much repair as possible before we get into the heart of the hurricane season. We do understand, though, and that is why the program was changed from a small roof repair to small home repair, simply because during our assessment, we realized that flood inundation was a major player as far as the catastrophic effect of Hurricane Dorian on the homes, both here in Grand Bahama as well as in Nassau, and in Abaco. And so we realized that persons need assistance not just with roof repairs, but also with interior repairs. However, unless there is a situation, let me say, with a senior citizen, a person living with disability, those particular individuals, we will make exceptions to get to you right away. However, our intention is to try people out, ensure that we could clog up the leaks, get your roof fixed, so that you can go through this hurricane season with a peace of mind. And so that has been the focus. One of the things we want to do within the new budget, Urban Renewal is also responsible for the removal of derelict vehicles, the clearing of abandoned buildings and what's not. The Beautiful Grand Bahama project has been doing a fantastic job with beautifying our communities, beautifying our streets. So in order to really enhance that and get that program to go where it needs to go as it relates to transformation, because that is the whole intent of what we are doing, and that is the whole purpose of Urban Renewal, transformation of urban communities and bringing them up to a better standard. So one of the projects we intend to launch heavily within the next budget is the removal of derelict vehicles and the clearing of abandoned buildings. Abandoned building is not just, and we know it, is not just about aesthetics and beautification. It's about removing elements that can aid in criminality. As far as the derelict vehicles, you're talking about rodents and whatever that really have a negative impact on our community, in addition to the look and aesthetics of our community. And so if we are going to transform our people, and not just transform them, the communities physically, but transform the people, our people mentally, so that they can move to where we want them to go, where this government expects to take this nation as it relates to upliftment, bringing comfort, compassionate relief to our people. That is what these programs aims to do, and that is what we intend to do going into the next budget. Any questions?
You mentioned that 500 homes were assessed on Grand Bahama.
Yes.
How many homes were actually repaired, and are you able to say how much was spent so far on those repairs?
I didn't bring the numbers as far as the dollars, but we would have repaired homes on Bimini some 20-some homes in Bimini. We would have repaired prior to this project, some 60-some homes on the island of Grand Bahama. Yesterday, this is an update I should have given. Yesterday, on the island of Moores Island, our materials landed on that island, and today, contractors are on the roof. We are repairing some 12 homes on the island of Moores Island. We have also signed the contracts to begin a massive repair program in Abaco. So this program that we started last week, we started with about 42 homes, and we intend to cut. The 42 home program was designed to last, the pilot program, 42 weeks. So within 2 weeks, we should be able to successfully complete that 42 homes based on the project. We intend to up that, right, once that program is successful, and it is. So we intend to double that when we come into the city of Freeport and we go into the East Grand Bahama, where the need truly exists. And so, like I said, we have assessed, complete, ready to go on paper, some almost 500 plus homes. We are ready to go, and so that project we should be able to get that project finished in a few months.
With the beginning of the hurricane season approaching, are you confident that you will be able to knock that number down significantly before the hurricane season?
Well, my promise is simply this. We will work diligently. We will do all that we can to ensure that as much repairs is done that is possible, humanly possible.
Azure Quant, ZNS Northern Service. Senator, you spoke about lunch programs.
Yes.
Do you see an increase in children needing to be on the lunch program?
Let me tell you, our team, not only our visit to the schools, but we do consistent walkabout in the communities. Let me say that there is a whole lot of need on the island of Grand Bahama. A lot of people don't come forward, and as we go into the communities knocking on doors, along with our community police department, we are finding that there are many persons who are requiring the lunch and breakfast program. Of course, social services continue with their assessment on a daily basis, and once those assessments are done, those persons are added to the food list, and so the lunch program, and so there is no pause in the program as we identify the persons. Our team in the various centers will reach out to the team leaders at social services to ensure that those persons are registered for the various programs and assistance that are needed. But there is no question in my mind that we will have to come to the table and look at a comprehensive breakfast program, the same as we have our lunch program, for the persons who are requiring those meals. And I believe we have to do that throughout this country.
Any other questions? Thank you, Senator.
Thank you, Senator Russell, for your update on urban renewal. We appreciate it. We know you have to leave for another event. A big part of what's happening on Grand Bahama is, as you would have heard Senator Russell talk about, small home repair program. The Ministry of Housing is also doing an aggressive program to get people into homes, and we want to share a little bit more about how that's going and what that is going to be all about.
The Ministry of Housing is moving on another round of low-cost housing construction in Grand Bahama. Minister of Housing, JoBeth Colby Davis, says 18 lots in Heritage are set to go.
So the 18 lots already have infrastructure. And so, as minister, I'm learning what these things mean and the significance. So once infrastructure is already at the property, you can practically start building the homes because you will get them connected on light and water as soon as you're done. The 100 lots doesn't have infrastructure. So I'm not really sure the timeline it'll take, but we have a number of great investors who've sent their interest to the Minister of Grand Bahama, also to the Ministry of Transport and Housing, wanting to do housing projects, come with their financing. And so once they have their financing, it's kind of easier to get that started right away.
Aura Lafleur of the ministry is leading the project. He says it's a continuation of a project that dates back years.
Well, about 10, 12, maybe about 15 years ago, the government constructed some homes here in this subdivision. So this will actually be like an extension or an addition to I think it's about 100 homes or so that we had built previously, and we're now continuing it to this extent. And then later on we'll go back and show you where there's another area that we plan on building as well.
The first 18 homes are scheduled to be completed around December, and one of the major selling points, the cost.
I think it's probably about 6 to 7 per lot. Yeah, so somewhere around 800,000 would be for the 100 lots that we acquire, and far less than that for the 18 lots that we're acquiring.
Keeping you in the know, this is OPM Press Now.
There are some new houses on the way for people in Grand Bahama, and of course I'm sure there's a lot of excitement in the air regarding that. As we prepare to hear from the minister, you would have seen at the beginning of this press conference a video talking about Beautiful Grand Bahama and what Beautiful Grand Bahama is doing and how it's providing opportunities for people who could not have work or weren't working, and the results that it's doing to Grand Bahama. Another part of that big initiative in Ministry of Grand Bahama, other than Beautiful Grand Bahama, is something called Collab. And a lot of people have been hearing about that and wondering, what is Collab? What is Collab? What is Collab? And I think that's the best way to introduce the minister, because these are two initiatives that she spearheaded. She went in feet first and got her feet wet and got these initiatives going, and they're yielding results here on Grand Bahama. So we'll give you a little recap on what Collab is, and then we'll get ready to bring on the minister for Grand Bahama to talk about Grand Bahama and what's happening on this island.
Collab, the name says it all, a collaboration between government and non-governmental organizations to revitalize Grand Bahama.
Collab is a unit that's been formed within the Ministry for Grand Bahama to address all the needs, the social needs, the economic needs in Freeport, Grand Bahama.
Launched in July 2022, the initiative is actively doing all it can to assist the basic necessities of residents in addition to housing needs.
A lot has been happening. A lot of persons that got displaced because of Dorian, some of them are now in their homes. You have a lot of persons we will call the small home repairs. They're actually getting help and assistance from the government and Collab.
Collab embraces sustainability, provides platforms for creatives, and is on a mission to restore Grand Bahama, one strategic partner at a time.
I'm excited that we are regularly meeting with individuals in the community, businesses, NGOs, to identify issues, bring the parties together, develop a framework, and execute for results. And we've been very effective in doing that.
With their new resource center, young people are able to utilize facilities to support their educational and personal development goals.
What we wanted to do is utilize this space and allow other individuals to benefit from it. And so we had the Ministry of Youth, they had their Job Ready program, and they utilized this facility for 5 weeks. And so that's where we had young persons coming in, preparing themselves for the job world.
Blood drives, mental health forums, and other community service-based projects are just some of the work being done by Collab. As their work continues, they hope to streamline bigger initiatives that will impact more and more residents. Keeping you in the know, this is OPM Press Now.
So I'm not going to delay any longer. The woman who has been our what do we call it? Let's liken it to what we've been doing well in sports. A woman who has been Jonquil Jones, the woman who has been our Chandra Stirrup, our Debbie Ferguson, our Pauline Davis Thompson, Sevathita Fines, our Eldis Clark Lewis, the woman who has been our Shawnee Miller Weibo, and the list goes on, who's been championing Grand Bahama in the midst of all of, we can be as Bahamians, controversy and all of the challenges. She's been working to make it happen. I'm going to call her now to give an update on Grand Bahama, take your questions, and talk about what's happening on this island. The Minister for Grand Bahama, the Honorable Ginger Moxie.
Good afternoon, Bahamas, and especially Grand Bahama Island. I believe that our press secretary has done such a tremendous job, and the team at OPM with the videos that, preceded me, that it has already shared so much of what has already been happening. But I will more than likely take a lot of questions from you that would address any other issue that the videos did not cover. But first and foremost, I thank you, press, for being here this afternoon. And it is wonderful to have the capital here on Grand Bahama Island, where we just had our first cabinet meeting with this new Davis Cooper administration on Grand Bahama Island, and also the groundbreaking of the hospital. And so very excited that you're all here. But I stand here this morning as Minister for Grand Bahama to address some important initiatives and developments that are shaping the future of our beloved island. And I will provide you with insights and updates on various projects and opportunities that will have a positive impact on the lives of our residents. But first, I think it's very important to establish what is the Ministry for Grand Bahama. Because as we all know, the Ministry for Grand Bahama would have come about in 2012 by the previous Christie administration. And before the Ministry for Grand Bahama was created, governance always existed on Grand Bahama Island, but it existed through the various agencies that still exist. But this ministry is a ministry that liaises with all other ministries, and so sometimes I believe there's a misunderstanding or a disconnect on the true role of the Ministry for Grand Bahama and matters that fall under its portfolio. But what I would say is that the Ministry for Grand Bahama does work with all government agencies to try to bring resolve to some of the issues that we faced. And so some of the key mandates of the ministry, and this is the way that it was presented back in 2012 and it carried over with some modifications, would be the relations with the Grand Bahama Port Authority, revitalization and promotion of Grand Bahama as a tourism and industrial center, promotion of agricultural development in Grand Bahama, advancement of health and educational infrastructure, promotion of employment and entrepreneurial opportunities in Grand Bahama, development of redevelopment of the Grand Bahama International Airport, community rehabilitation in East and West Grand Bahama, and the most important one, coordinating and liaising with other ministries. And I believe this says it all. It shows that this ministry is a ministry that collaborates with all other ministries. And the newest mandate of the ministry that was provided in September or October 2021 would be to partner with NGOs, businesses, other government agencies, and the community at large to assist with the basic needs of residents and for the growth and development of Grand Bahama Island. And that basic needs came about as a result of Hurricane Dorian, because we all know that Grand Bahama had hit rock bottom. There are so many people in need, so many people hurting, and we knew that we needed to have another approach in order to address some of the issues that we faced. Because right after Hurricane Dorian, we had the pandemic. So we had not recovered, and yet as soon as we started to, we were hit again with the double whammy, what I call it, and that would have been the pandemic. And so we recognized right away that we needed to do things a bit differently in order to take us out of, that situation. And so based on that new unit, based on that new mandate, the new unit CoLab was formed, and with that same mandate. And I believe that we've been doing a great job with trying to address some of the needs in the community. And CoLab really is based on identifying issues, and we have many of those issues on the island. It could be the issue of no blood in the blood bank, where we came together and got people to donate blood. It could be the animal issue, where we're working with animal control and in order to solve some of those challenges. So it's identifying issues, bringing the players together, creating the framework, and then executing for results. Right in this building, we have our CoLab unit set up, where we've been meeting regularly with individuals, organizations, where they bring in certain projects or issues that they feel need to be addressed from a government standpoint. And what we would do, call in the various agencies. We would also call in other public or private sector individuals and address those issues. One of the first initiatives of CoLab, and it was mentioned previously, was Beautiful Grand Bahama. And it's something that I'm so passionate about because it has impacted lives in such a meaningful way. Again, after Dorian, we had so many people who were unemployed, and some who were or are considered unemployable. And that could be from perhaps having a criminal record for a minor offense. It could be some who, born here, been here all their life, and still do not have the identification to really say that they are Bahamian. And so what happens in those situations, you have these individuals who cannot get a job legally, which means that when people are in those types of situations, they find other means to be able to survive. Because when that child comes in front of you, when that baby starts crying about being hungry, and they it just causes this cycle of lawlessness in some regard to be prevalent. What Beautiful Grand Bahama has done on this island, I would say, is revolutionary, because so many of our people are engaged and it has really transformed their lives. So there's been remarkable results, proven results from Beautiful Grand Bahama, which has impacted lives from east to west. There are about 350 individuals on the program. In some instances, it peaked a little bit above that PS. And so it is just one of those things that I think we can all be proud of. But what is important about the program is that we took on initiatives that had been long outstanding, projects that many may not have touched. But what we did have, we had the labor, and so we identified government-related projects that we could utilize these skill sets on, and we've been transforming, many of our own projects. The way I look at it too, I say that if these individuals are not working and earning that money, perhaps they are on the social services line. And so either way, you're paying for it. So what better way than to have these individuals working, feeling good about themselves, knowing that they're earning earning a living, and knowing also that they're helping with restoring communities, developing communities. And one of the initiatives would have been the memorial sites we did for the Dorian victims. And it's in Bevanstown, in High Rock, and McLeanstown. And it was very emotional because it allowed there to be, a sense of peace, a sense of closure for many of the families who had been going through it, but yet, there was nothing to really, memorialize. And so I believe that the families were pleased with that, and it was done by the people in those communities. And so again, I think we have to really thank those that were involved in the program, but I think first and foremost, I would like to thank our Prime Minister, who is so compassionate and really looks to see how we can do for the least amongst us. And that is one of those initiatives that has totally transformed lives, transformed Grand Bahama Island, and we're hoping that we can get the community involved more in it, because again, it's supposed to be a collaboration of public and private when it comes to meeting the needs of our people and addressing, the issues that we have. And so just to name a few of them, because I think it's important to say what beautiful Grandmama is. We kind of, talk about it a little. We mentioned beautiful Grandmama, we mentioned Collab, but we really don't say what it is and what it does. And so some of the projects in East Grand Bahama would have been the Coconut Fest site restoration, which I would say would be the beginning of bringing back festivals on Grand Bahama Island after Dorian, after the pandemic. So that just awakened festivals on the island. The Pelican Point Cemetery repair and beautification, Pelican Point beach access, Emmanuel Mission Baptist Tomb relocation. That was a big one for those people in the community, because from Dorian, this tomb was just washed somewhere else with celebrated pastors in the community, and the community wanted it restored and repositioned where it needed to be next to the church, and that was done, and that was a proud moment for those in that community. Vehicle and debris removal from the waters between McLeanstown and Abaco. That was a big one, because again it was so hazardous and created a very dangerous situation. The High Rock Cemetery repair and beautification, McLeanstown Cemetery repair and beautification, Dorian, I mentioned the Dorian victims memorial sites, High Rock roading, ramp clearing and cleaning. We cleared and created Shoreside Road, Rocky Creek Cemetery to McLeanstown, clearing of Turtle Pond and Thomastown, partial restoration of McLeanstown School, which is used for the Conch Cracking Festival, East Grand Bahama Community entrance signage, 52 miles from Missile Beach to Sweetings Key of debris removal. I think we were the first on the grounds after the various, tropical depressions and all that would have passed. So we were there to clear all of those areas. 32 miles from Missile Base to McLeanstown of the roadway with landscaping and maintenance. We cleared beach access and path preparation to Freetown Beach and construction of community bus stops in Freetown, Gambier Point, and High Rock. And I thought it was important to highlight it because, again, we just say, beautiful Grand Bahama, but what are the projects that these workers are doing and how has it impacted the community? And then in Central, you've all heard about this Trip Circle Restoration Village project. And this is one where we restored 9, we still have 2 more to go, homes in, they call it the back of town area, that were dilapidated police homes that for many, many years they'd been, dilapidated, and we refurbished them. They almost look brand new now. And we're using them as transition homes because, again, there's so many people who were displaced from Dorian and actually need that type of help. But the way we're doing it, we're partnering with other NGOs who will adopt the home and utilize it for those types of individuals. And we also have a Kola Resource Center there where counseling happens, and we have our own Father Robbie Cannon Robinson, who is there and doing an amazing job in Trip Circle in the back of town. We also plan to work closely with BTVI because many of the individuals who are a part of the Beautiful Grandmama program needs that type of certification, that type of training, because they have the skill, but they need that in order to advance. And we are working closely with BTVI on that. Also dealing with the expungement of records, because once that is done for minor offenses, once that is done, they can now transition from these types of jobs and get onto other job sites because now they'll have a clean record. So those things are important. And then we have the Peel Street Police Heritage Village that we've done a lot of work on. We're going to go back in there and do some work there in partnership with the Ministry of Tourism, Investments in Aviation, also in partnership with AMMC, and we're going to bring that area back to life. Mermaid Pond Heritage Site, Jack Hayward Senior High School Farm Cleanup, St. George's High School Farm Cleanup, Sister Mary Patricia Junior High School Farm Cleanup. We've been doing a lot of farm cleanups. Fencing of the post office, and when I say these are important projects in various areas because it created other situations, and these would have been some that would have been brought to our attention, and again, because we had the manpower, we were able to get a lot of this done. The UB North new site, construction assistance, and that's really with we use the word demolishing, but we gutted. I'm going to use the word gutted. The inside, the interior of the new UB site, which is the Kipling building. Farmers Market electrical upgrade, Lewis Yard Primary School cleanup, Hospital Community entrance restoration. And we assisted with some of the public centers like the Home Away from Home Senior Citizens, home site restoration, and the Grandmama Sports Complex cleanup, Grandmama Memorial Park cleanup and beautification. And then in West Grandmama, we had 8 Mile Rock entrance beautification. Everyone talks about West Grandmama. West Grandmama really looks good. West End entrance beautification, planting trees throughout communities, hero signage in communities, Harbor West Cemetery repair and beautification. You would have heard a lot about cemeteries too, right? And it's so important because after Dorian, I think Matthew did the most damage, I would say. But after Dorian, there was so much removed with the sites that we have. There was a lot of work that needed to be done. So that's one of the things we took on because, we want our loved ones to be memorialized with dignity. And so we took that project on. And also 8 Mile Rock Coastal and Motorway cleanup, Josie Cave cleanup, and we have a lot more work to do there, and 8 Mile Rock High School perimeter and field cleanup. And some upcoming projects we have would be the Grand Bahama Arts and Crafts Center. Now that's a project that I believe should be an ideal touristic site where there's activity happening there, where there's this tour experience. And so we're supposed to be developing some vendor opportunities there where you have the authentic experience, where you have Junkanoo 101, where you have the Bahamian drinks and the food, and of course you have the arts and the craft, And so we want to turn that into an experience that's lively, that can provide other opportunities for our taxi drivers and the visiting guests. And also some entrepreneurial opportunities for some of our people. And the farmers market downtown, what I recognize is that, yes, we've been very busy aggressively going out and promoting new cruise ships to come into Grand Bahama Island. We've been, the Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Tourism, and myself, along with the Ministry of Tourism here, we've been meeting with FCCA, meeting with executives of cruise lines, saying why Grand Bahama should be, high on the agenda with new cruise ships that call to the island. But again, you always hear of, okay, but the experience, the product. We need more product, we need, and when you do have the product, we need the product improved. When you come to a destination, you're looking for what is authentic to that place. And so when you go to the farmers market and you send in these buses now, because they're coming, the bus loads are coming, but you have many of the booths that are not open. You have, when you go to some of the booths, you see more of made in China than you see made in the Bahamas. And it's like that all around. It's like that at the harbor. And we need to show what we are as Bahamians. We need to ensure that, visitors have the, like I said, authentic experience. And so we are working with those in the farmers market and in other locations to do that. But at the marketplace, there's some upgrades that needs to happen there too, and that is one of the projects that we have committed to. Also, there's the beach access. We call it the Lucayan Beach Access in the Lucaya area, and we're working to make that more appealing as well for the visitors. And that's a high priority project. So those three, we will be working on them as early as within the next week and a half or so, and you should see a lot of movement there. Also, many would have heard of this Empower Grand Bahama grant, Empower Grand Bahama Orange Economy grant, and I've been at this for a while. My PS will know, and so we expect to within the next, I would say, 2 weeks. PS, can I say 2 weeks? We expect to be distributing. But again, it's based on this. We have the opportunity now where we have cruise ships that are coming in. We are looking to empower individuals in these areas that, we know we want this authentic experience. So with the Orange Economy, for example, farmers market, I mentioned that. We know that in the farmers market, we have the cruise ships that are already calling upon it. But what happens again is that so many of the vendors would have been compromised from Dorian. So many of them lost everything in Dorian, and that's why I believe many have not reopened. So these are some of the situations we're looking at and that we're prioritizing in terms of, the grants. And that, again, will be happening. That isn't all, but that's expected to happen within the next 2 weeks. PS, I'm saying this live, so I'm expecting that. I said 3? Did I say 3? See, he upped it to 3 weeks. You all heard that. But I am, yes. So we are looking forward to that happening. I believe that's that for that. And then we have some work that has been happening in East Grand Bahama with home repairs. And there's a differentiation here. We have DRA that deals with, or will be dealing with, repairs that are as a result of a disaster. And then you have urban renewal that takes on other home repair situation. So that's that. But what we did from our ministry, but it's not our mandate, We did it because of certain priority needs. We had those who were handicapped. We had some who were blind. We had some who, the indigent, the aged. We had many of those cases, and we felt that there was a need to prioritize some of those home repair situation. And so that's what we did. So the Ministry for Grandmama would have taken on some of those in partnership with the Ministry of Finance in order to get some of those individuals back in their homes. And so that's what, anytime you heard us referring to home repairs in East Grand Bahama, it would have been specific to those. And so it dealt with the most vulnerable in the community, including the senior citizens, disabled, widows, and the unemployed who suffered tremendously as a result of Dorian. And phase 1 of that would have dealt with 13 homes. Phase 2 included Mr. Otis Carey, who's legally blind, and he's a double amputee, a resident of McLeanstown. And then phase 3 will begin shortly, and that they involve 3 new bills of some of the elderly who are actually in the Freeport area now that really need to return to their homes. And so, but we have and then there's a phase 4 coming probably in the next budget period, PS? Okay, you see, I keep referring to PS, right? So that is going to be happening. We've been doing a lot through CoLab, and one of them would have been this partnership that we formed with St. Augustine University in Raleigh, North Carolina. And they visited actually 2 weeks ago. St. Augustine would have visited, and we're doing a lot of collaborative projects with them. They've formed a partnership with the University of the Bahamas and with BTVI. We're looking closely at innovation and entrepreneurship and seeing how we partner together with our students here and their students there. And we're also looking at the scholarship opportunities that they can present to our people here. And also, we have numerous promotion and investment missions that we've been a part of. We've done many in North Carolina, in Raleigh, in Charlotte. We've done in Ottawa, Canada, where we're focusing on, all of the investment opportunities that are here on Grand Bahama Island, but also focusing on innovation. And with that, in our Blueprint for Change, we promised that the Digital 700 would herald in transformational opportunities, including new jobs, new services, new industries, and new markets. We also committed to focusing on attracting investment and industry across all sectors, to equip and engage with our embassies, and that's what we did in Ottawa, Canada. Our embassies, consulates, and the diaspora to assist in promotions and to partner with international organizations for business, cultural, tourism, educational, and humanitarian exchanges, and to advance the Bahamas as a digital society inclusive of smart technology. And so that's business tourism, edu-tourism, agritourism, heritage and film tourism, education, executive education, and smart cities. And from that, one of the trade mission in Ottawa, we formed a partnership with what is called Hub 350. And we've partnered with them in the development of our own innovation hub, we call it, and we will also be partnering with other tech hubs around the world. I am also excited to share an upcoming trade and investment mission that is in collaboration with the Caribbean Export Development Agency. It's in Ghana, Accra, Ghana, and in Lagos, Nigeria. And we're of course, presenting the significant opportunities that Grand Bahama Island possess, and that mission will allow us to forge strong trade ties and explore potential investments between Ghana, Nigeria, and our island. I was actually a part of the investment and trade mission that Ghana had this week. They came on Sunday in Nassau yesterday, and I spoke there about the opportunities of Grand Bahama Island, because I'm the chief right now of promoting what is available on Grand Bahama from an investment standpoint. The opportunities are endless. We all know that. We know that we are strategically located so close to the state of Florida. We have a major transshipment terminal. We have distribution and logistics capabilities. We have a free trade zone in this area, so we're very attractive as for investment. And so I wanted to share that. I also wanted to share the fact that we have identified Grand Bahama Island as the home of maritime and logistics, which it has been for a very long time, but also the home of events and entertainment and the home of innovation. And so we believe that with that, we're supposed to be innovating. We're supposed to be piloting a lot of these projects that will take the Bahamas to the next level. And the opportunities in Grand Bahama have not been tapped into the way they should be. When people hear about Grand Bahama, they're like, well, gee, it's like a no-brainer. And that's the message that we want to get out there. And with that this one in particular is very important. The relationship with Africa and what we want to do with the relationship there for investment opportunities. So I will talk about that more a bit later, but that is a major initiative. Also, of course, with the airport, demolition will begin shortly on the old international structure, and renovations to the control tower will also shortly begin. That's a priority, but I'm sure my cabinet colleague, the DPM, will speak more on that, as that directly falls under the portfolio of Minister of Aviation, Minister responsible for aviation. As the Minister of Grand Bahama, I am pleased to report that ongoing investments in the island demonstrate strong investor confidence in the potential of Grand Bahama's economy. The recent developments and investments that have taken place on the island are a testament to the commitment of investments to creating a thriving business environment on Grand Bahama. And of course, we all know about Carnival, and Carnival is proceeding very well. I'm excited about the progress there. We get monthly updates on what's going on, and it's pretty much on schedule. And I would say that we may have lost 2 weeks here and there because of the various tropical storms that would have passed through, but they are well on the way, and I am very excited about that. And also the investment of O2, that's right in the Lukaya area, O2 development, that's proceeding very well. The land was cleared, the infrastructure is there, and I believe that's going to create additional opportunities for our people here in terms of employment. The Six Senses Resort is also on the way, and they're committed to building this in the Lukaya area of Grand Bahama, the Discovery Bay area, and it will enhance the island's tourism offerings and attract high-end tourists to our shores. Of course, the consistent airline arrivals is encouraging. We have a lot more work to do. Of course, once the new airport is there, there's going to be a lot more, but I'm very pleased that we are at we're almost there at pre-Dorian, pre-pandemic levels of the arrivals by air on Grand Bahama Island. So that is very encouraging. And of course, the ground is broken for the Freeport Health Campus, which is exciting news for the people of Grand Bahama who have endured so much so much, and we now have our new hospital where ground has been broken, and yes, the work will commence immediately, and so we know that is that a sign that I should stop? I see that. Is that? I hear. So we're very excited about that. We also have the heroic concrete groundbreaking that will take place on the 25th of this month, and that is exciting news because we know we've had a lot of issues when it comes to building and not having the concrete supplies that we needed, and so that's happening. Of course, Equinor was sold to Liverton, and I actually just met with them before this press conference, and it is exciting what's going to be happening there. Within, I would say, 2 months, you should have about 300 people on that job site that begins the construction for the redevelopment of that Liverthorne, which is in East Grand Bahama. So that is exciting news. Lots of projects happening, lots of employment opportunities for our people. And then we have Eden Echo Resort in West Grand Bahama that's supposed to be happening. It's a sustainable resort development with aquaculture production, and it's on 93 acres of land in the West Grand Bahama area. I'm sure that the Minister of Social Services and Urban Development, who's the MP for that area, will be speaking more about that in the coming days and months ahead. But it's an exciting opportunity for the people of West Grand Bahama and the wider Grand Bahama community. And so the ongoing investments in Grand Bahama demonstrate strong investor confidence. And the projects represent diverse assets in the island's tourism, healthcare, infrastructure, and renewable energy sectors. I'm committed to creating an environment that supports and encourages such investments in the island's economy. And I know I touched on the health campus already, but it's been long coming, and the Minister of Health and Wellness, who spearheaded this from 2016, I would say, or long before that. But I think from he came into office, which is in 2012, he started that project, and so it's great to know that it's finally here and that the work has begun. It's also going to provide many opportunities for medical tourism, and I'm excited about that for our island. And again, we thank the Prime Minister because he's the one that really makes it happen, because when it comes to the people, that is his primary focus. And so I am committed to working tirelessly to ensure that our island thrives and prospers. But most importantly, I want to make sure with our island prospering, with developments happening, with things coming out of the ground, with these businesses making money, I want to ensure that our people are thriving as well. I think that is the key. Because we have a population of 40,000 people now. There's going to be all of these different opportunities happening, all this development on the island. And we want to see that with that development, that our people are developing as well, that our people have a stake in it, that our people are feeling, the impact as well. And so I am so excited about the things that we are doing, because we are focused on how do we lift our people up with the projects. How do we assist in creating entrepreneurial opportunities that are going to help our people? That is the key. Because, you can always have the job. The jobs will come. The jobs will be there. But what are those other opportunities? And that's why we focus on that. And that's why that's one of the mandates of the ministry, which is the creation of jobs and entrepreneurial opportunities. And that's why we have to be creative. We have to be creative with it in coming up with programs like Beautiful Grand Bahama, coming up with initiatives like CoLab that kind of takes us in a direction that we've never been in before, but it's one where we are looking at solutions to some of the issues that we face. And so together, let us embrace these opportunities and build strong partnerships as we continue to recover, rebuild, and revolutionize Grandmama Island. Thank you so much. Okay. Oh, sorry. PS said to remind y'all, don't forget I'm traveling today.
Azure Quant, ZNS Minister. There was a promise made to the Prime Minister by the Freeport Container Port to reduce the number of casual workers. What is the status on that?
I'm frequently speaking with organizations because, yes, that was one of the things we said from day one. The whole casual labor thing needs to not just be monitored, but we want to see it transition out because we want our people to be able to go to the bank, be able to get a loan, to be able to purchase a home, and so that's been one of our priorities. And from what I understand, there's no longer casual labor at the container port. I think they're called terminal operators, and they have benefits. And so now they get the insurance, they get the bonus, they get all the things that come with what a permanent employee will get. Maybe not all of what they get, but they do have some benefits. And so that's my understanding from what I've been advised.
And speaking of labor, unemployment numbers, what are they looking like?
Okay, so of course, I would love to know definitively that number as well. But statistics has indicated that by the end of this year, we'll have some unemployment numbers. But what I can say is that just in what has been happening, what's been happening with the 350 employed in beautiful Grand Bahama, what has been happening with the other new developments that have been happening, the businesses that have reopened, the fact that, the curfew is lifted, the lockdown is stopped, I think a lot of other businesses reopened. And so I think we're in a much better position. I can't definitively, though, tell you what the percentage is.
Okay, and continuing with the employment beat, what are the plans for the youth employment program this year?
Well, the plans are the same as last year. I know we've employed many young people throughout the public and private sector that was accommodated through the Ministry of Public Service, as well as the Ministry of Youth, Sports and Culture, and that will continue. But of course, you have to make it through a budget period, and once that happens, then we start to roll out the program.
Okay, Lydia, I was saying that as far as the travel, we'll take 2 questions per media hours.
Mm-hmm.
Good afternoon, Minister. My name is Denise Maycock from the Tribune.
Yes,
you talked extensively about beautiful Grand Bahama. We talked about how it's touched basically almost every sector, I guess the construction sector. Can you tell us basically how much has been injected in the economy through this beautiful Grand Bahama?
Wow. Whew. What I can say, and I'm going to be very, very free here, yes? With our new budget, there was an allocation of about 3.7 million, I think, that went to the new unit called CoLab. Every dime of that was used for beautiful Grand Bahama. Also, there would have been, in the midterm budget communication, there was an amount of 5.4 million that was allocated to what was called Grand Bahama Beautification, which would have been beautiful Grand Bahama. And that was because of the impact on, I say, between 370 individuals, because it peaked at some points, but also on the projects that fell under this. And so a part of it was in the initial, because it's changed since, we've modified it a bit. In the initial 9 months, there was a lunch component that was a part of the program. And with that, we were able to engage some vendors in the community who actually prepared the food for the individuals on the program. Because remember, you're talking about $250 a week. That was at that time. Minimum wage came in and is now $260. But you're talking about $250 a week from individuals who had not worked in 3 years, 4 years from Dorian. And so what we wanted to do, we wanted to ensure that that $250 went home, that the $250 did not go on by purchasing $10 lunch per day, and all of their funds would be gone just on eating. So we wanted to ensure that that happened, and so that they could put bread on their tables and that they could buy supplies for their children. And so that's what happened there. So there was the vendor component, which meant that how many? I'm not sure exactly the number, but vendors in the various community from East, in the central area, and in West were a part of the program. So there they provided the lunch. Then there was transportation involved with the individuals going to the various sites. The workers, when they gathered, they were taken to various sites that we rehabilitated. And then, of course, there was supplies. There was all this construction supplies that was purchased in order to redevelop a lot of these facilities. The homes that were done in Trip Circle, we practically rebuilt homes. And so there, right there was a lot that was involved there. So I would say that there was such a trickle-down effect of that those who sold supplies, who sold, shops that sell groceries, shops that are the mom and pop shops in communities, they're the ones to benefit the most, because those individuals, when they left with their $250, they went right into their communities and injected that right back. And so I believe that a lot of the mom and pop shops in the communities would have been the beneficiaries of the program. Heavy equipment, yes, there was a lot of heavy equipment work that was required on many of the sites. The Mermaid Pond, the heavy equipment out east for the removal of debris and all that. So it was extremely impactful for the entire island of Grand Bahama.
Can you tell us where Carnival is now in their phase of development?
Carnival is they've cleared the grub, the site, the dredging is completed, yes, and so we are looking, like I said, a couple weeks we're at it, so we're looking at the first quarter of 2025 for completion. Yeah.
Good afternoon, Minister Barbara Walken, Grand Bahama News.
Your mic isn't on, but I can hear you, I think.
Anyway.
Okay, go ahead. That's fine.
The Beautiful Grand Bahama program, and you spoke about working with BTVI. How quickly can you get those people into BTVI's program to get them certifications with all the other projects and investments coming into Grand Bahama, so they can kind of feeder out of those programs into those job sites?
We've been communicating on this for a while, and I believe BTVI is ready. They're ready to go, and we just have to sort out some other things in terms of the applications and ensuring that our people are placed where they really want to go. But I would say within the next month we can have just about anyone who is interested in it enrolled in the BTVI certification program. But it's been a work in progress, and I think we're well ahead with making that happen. And it's beautiful for us because people are now feeling so much better about themselves, knowing that, yes, I can do this, and that the government is focused on, empowering them and allowing them to, thrive. And so I'm just very, very pleased about that part of the program, as well as those with the expunge record, because what has happened also, crime has gone all the way down. because people are now working, they're now engaged. And so think about it. That means then that if you provide the opportunities, people prefer that than the chance of taking all those risks to do that stuff that they should not be doing. And so they want the opportunities, and I believe that Beautiful Grand Bahama is, you know, it shows what we can do with some of the challenges that we face. We've had many international organizations here that have viewed the program. They've been there, they've been to Trip Circle in CoLab, they've done the tours in the various communities. They've spoken to many of the workers in the program, and they believe that it's a program that should be used throughout the Caribbean, that it's having that type of impact. And so I'm very, very proud of that program.
Good afternoon, Berthany McDermott from
Hello.
From our News.
Yes.
Minister, we got word of an unregulated community on Grand Bahama, or a shanty town on Grand Bahama. We got word of a shanty town on Grand Bahama. Wanted to ask if you have heard anything, seen anything. Can you confirm that that is
Shanty
the
town?
case?
No, I'm not aware of a shanty town on Grand Bahama Island. No. No. Anyone knows about that? No.
Minister, the Beautiful Grand Bahama project, will that continue, and if so, with how many persons?
Okay, actually the Beautiful Grand Bahama program has continued. It's modified a bit because, you know, I will say this. Beautiful Grand Bahama came about because of immediate impact, you know, immediate relief, because so many people were hurting. And in doing that, it made sense to identify projects that government had to do anyway and enlist those individuals in that type of program. And right now, we've re-engaged many of the individuals on the program. We're trying to, they've actually been enlisted as general service workers within the government system, right, VS? And so we've been working with them, making sure, you know, they have all their papers in line, and then we're proceeding from there. But it's going to take on it's going to be different. And they're more than likely going to be within other government agencies where they're assigned to specific duties. But the projects that I mentioned that are coming up, which is the Grand Bahama Arts and Crafts Center, the Farmers Market downtown, and the Lucayan Beach Access, they're all going to involve Beautiful Grand Bahama individuals. So it will continue, but in another fashion. So it may not even be called Beautiful Grand Bahama. It may be, you have a seat. I'm sad. It may not be called Beautiful Grand Bahama, but it will be one where the individuals that are part of it are, you know, they are allowed to continue the journey and actually, you know, improve their lives. So that's the key. It's about the people.
Thank you, Minister Grand Bahama.
They're telling me I have to go.
Y'all got a comprehensive date. She has a flight to catch. You have a comprehensive date. I'm not going to waste much time. I'm going to invite Nuvolari Chada Singh from Tourism to come and quickly update us on tourism, and then we'll give you your announcements and questions, and we're just on our heels of completion. Nuvolari.
Thank you. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen of the press. My name is Nuvolari Chada Singh. That's Nuvolari CHOTOOSINGH, Manager of Groups and Events, Ministry of Tourism, Investments and Aviation here on Grand Bahama Island. Grand Bahama continues to see a strong rebound in tourism numbers following the COVID-19 pandemic and also following the Hurricane Dorian situation we had here in 2019. As the Minister would have told you, most of what is already happening tourism-wise here on Grand Bahama, the Ministry of Tourism continues to make inroads into promoting Grand Bahama Island. We would have late last year gone into Raleigh, North Carolina, launched the Bahamas Air Flight direct service to Grand Bahama and New Providence. Okay, following that, we would have been into Canada. As you would have heard recently, Sunwing would have been bought out by WestJet, and we have a very good relationship with WestJet, so we hope to have that airline servicing Grand Bahama Island in particular, year-round through negotiations that will be going on with our airlift partners and those senior persons in New Providence responsible for the airlift situation. We also went recently into Dallas and Austin, Texas, on another mission promoting Grand Bahama Island, and the government has really put Grand Bahama at the forefront of these missions in these various states and countries, simply to raise the antenna about Grand Bahama Island. One wouldn't expect, of course, to plant a seed today and pick the fruit tomorrow morning. Okay, so these things do take a bit of time in some instances. In some cases, if you're lucky, it can happen just like that in this business. But nonetheless, we also have missions later on in the year going to California and also into South America, Peru, and also Colombia, where we'll be marketing Grand Bahama Island in particular, as well as the islands of the Bahamas. Okay, you've heard the minister mention the ongoing negotiations with the sale of the Grand Lucayan property. As the minister said, Minister the Honorable Chester Cooper said we will not be speaking to that until the money's in the bank, and so I will leave that particular one there. Nonetheless, he has mentioned on Tuesday that they're hoping to open Breakers Key, that part of the hotel property, just to provide additional room, because we need rooms in order to attract airlines to Grand Bahama that want to service this island. And so that'll be something that we'll be looking forward to happening in a very near future. There are some ongoing works there right now at the Prop Club that will be used to assist with day trippers who are looking for another beach experience. Right now, the major beach experience venue would be probably Pirates Cove, led by Mr. David Wallace. But there is more business, and so we need more product. And so this will help us out a lot in terms of the capacity that we have to accommodate those persons who want that type of beach experience. And in fact, this beach is right across the street from the the Port Lucaya Marketplace. And so the Port Lucaya Marketplace will then also benefit from having this volume of people in the area all day practically, so they can walk over there, get something to eat, drink, whatever, just hang out and enjoy the beach as well as the Port Lucaya Marketplace. We have a number of investments going on. You heard about the Carnival Port continuing. We're looking forward to that happening in the very near future, first quarter 2025. The groundbreaking of the medical school, the campus. We also have a medical school right there as well, a university, West Atlantic Medical University. And so that's already medical tourism. Most of the students at that university are from the United States. And so we have medical tourism going on through the university at this time. And also, it benefits Grand Bahama to have, state-of-the-art facility like that, because we have guests who come here and want to come here, but if they're going to come here, they want to know that they'll be taken care of properly if, in case of any incidents or accidents. We have a large Canadian snowbird community here. And so I think with having this particular facility available, that will allow us to increase those numbers as well. And those persons stay here at least 6 months of the year sometimes. So that's a very good component to tourism here for us in Grand Bahama. We also have the exquisite yacht facility being redeveloped, formerly the Runnymore Marina. And so several $1 million are being pumped into redeveloping that. That company builds catamaran yachts. The cheapest one is $300,000. The plan is to have those persons who purchase these yachts, when they want to do maintenance work or have it refurbished, they can cruise over here to Grand Bahama, stay on that property, enjoy the island while they're waiting for the work to be completed. And so that's another one that we're looking forward to happening. They have a soft opening, I understand, as soon as July. So that's going to be very significant for us, giving us higher end product that'll be available for visitors here to Grand Bahama. We continue to see our numbers, cruise numbers go up, as well as our airlift. And so this is encouraging. We're looking for more numbers to increase as the year goes on. We are just about 4% down from 2019, but we're 150% almost over last year's numbers for the first quarter. So, ladies and gentlemen, any questions I'll be happy to take at this time?
Juan Zedenas. A lot of persons have been complaining that there's not enough to do here on the island, particularly major attractions and nightlife. Besides Smith's Point Fish Fry, what is the ministry prepared to do in terms of those two?
Well, let us be clear. Grand Bahama is not Nassau Paradise Island. We have a different product. We're not the mega resorts casino, island. But we do have a number of soft adventure products here. We have over 40 activities on this island that you can take part in just about any day of the week that you're here, whether it's swimming with the pigs, swimming with the stingrays, swimming with the turtles, swimming with the dolphins, golf, tennis, boating, fishing, diving. Grand Bahama is saying every day almost I see requests come in for people who want to shoot televisions, film. So we have a number of areas that we can also have people come and enjoy themselves. Tours, birding, it's just phenomenal. Most people are just not aware of what all Grand Bahama has to offer. But there's no shortage of activities to do here on the island. Next question.
News. Mr. Chattersing, you spoke to WestJet and Sunwing takeover. We know the Sunwing seasonal flights end this month, I believe. And how successful have they been, and will that takeover, what kind of impact we're hoping to have from that?
Well, once we are able to solidify negotiations with WestJet, I hope to see some good numbers coming out of Canada. We used to have 2 flights from Canada with Sunwing, and those were pretty much filled. And those persons would be here, they stayed here for a week. So I don't expect to see anything less than that moving forward. And as I mentioned, we hope to have that year-round and not just seasonal. Anyone else?
Are you able to provide arrival numbers to Grand Bahama so far for the year or in the past few months in terms of air arrivals?
As for airlift, as of the 31st of March, around 15,500. Cruise arrivals to March, end of March, around 120,000.
Domestic tourism. At one point, direct flights to Grand Bahama was promoted. Where's the ministry with promoting domestic travel or domestic tourism for the island?
Well, the ministry is always promoting domestic tourism to Grand Bahama Island. In fact, Western Air has some 3 to 4 flights a day out of Nassau. We also have Flamingo Air, 2 flights out of Bimini, 2 flights out of Abaco. So that's ongoing. Sure, we'd like to see more once the airlines see that this makes sense for them. It has to make business sense. I don't think anybody would be flying from Andros to Long Island. Why not? No demand there for it. But certainly we welcome any airline wants to come into Grand Bahama domestically or internationally. Any other questions?
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate it. Appreciate it. I'll give you a couple announcements because we're way beyond our time. I'll give you a couple of announcements that we have for you. Prime Minister Davis met with Small Business Roundtable with the small business owners on Monday in the Capitol. He engaged a roundtable discussion with local small and medium-sized businesses. The meeting really underscored the government's commitment to supporting Bahamian entrepreneurship and innovation, particularly in the face of recent adversities, including Hurricane Dorian, the COVID-19 pandemic, and a global inflation crisis. Now, during the discussion, Prime Minister Davis highlighted the resilience and adaptability of Bahamian SMEs, commending them for their agility, resourcefulness, and grit in navigating these tumultuous times. You see a number of these kind of roundtable forums happening in various sectors and various parts of the community as Prime Minister Davis continues to engage with the business community and the public on a number of important matters and issues. Today he was in Cat Island this morning addressing the Cat Island Business Outlook, talking about new developments in Cat Island. This event takes place on the heels of the signing of a contract for the new airport in Cat Island. So there's some new development that's happening there in Cat Island. The Prime Minister is pretty much excited about, as you know, as part of his constituency. And so you'll be seeing a number of developments happening there as well as the interest grows throughout the length and breadth of Family Islands and throughout the archipelago. There's some events happening in Grand Bahama I'm going to tell you about. about right before we close with our vendors. And of course, the Beat Retreat, we understand is happening, is part of the Independence Committee. The Beat Retreat is happening this Saturday under the patronage and honor of the Minister of Grand Bahama, Ginger Moxie. It takes place at 12:30 at the Grand Bahama Sporting Complex. You're going to have performances from New Providence and Grand Bahama, including the Royal Bahamas Police Force Marching Band, Defense Force Marching Band, Department of Correctional Services Marching Band, Bahamas Brass Band, and Legends Marching Band. Admission is absolutely free. It's being sponsored by PTC and of course, some other sponsors there. So make sure that you have something to do on Saturday, that you go and support that Independence event as it happens. And of course, something's happening on Sunday, a concert, and I'm going to call Derek Stuff to talk about that, this concert, and it's interesting twist. It's called the Singing Pastors of Grand Bahama Concert. Interesting. Come, Derek, and talk a little bit about that, and then we'll bring our vendors on.
Thank you so much, Mr. Watson. Good afternoon, Grand Bahama, and good afternoon, Bahamas. Like Mr. Watson said, it is going to be a busy but exciting weekend this week here in Grand Bahama. Of course, on Saturday it's all about marching bands, and the next big thing in Grand Bahama is gospel music. And so we're going to all assemble at Calvary Temple Assemblies of God at 7 p.m. on Sunday. We have pastors from throughout the island that you've been accustomed to their preaching. So we're going to now see them on the stage singing. And the thing about this is, it is all in an effort because the Christian Council feel the need to fulfill the mandate that they have from the Bible, and that is to take care of the widows. And so many of the pastors would have lost their wives within the last 5 years. And so they thought it fitting to do something for the wives of these husbands who would have passed, or the bishops who would have passed, because some of them did not, it's not like they were sick for a while. They would have died suddenly, and it really leaves the widow in such a vulnerable state. And the church is still expecting her to do so much. Everyone is still leaning on her, and we don't understand what they go through. And so they thought that this would be fitting to honor them, but not only honor them, to bless them financially. And so the end of all of this, because the concert will be this Sunday, the following Sunday will be a service just for the widows. And so that on that day, they want to make a presentation to all the widows. And I think it's maybe about 10 of them that will be recipient of whatever we would have garnered from this concert, and also whatever they would have done on the following Sunday. It's going to be exciting. Of course, we're going to also have Brother Clint Watson and Shabak. They're going to be back here. Grand Bahama is just trying to keep him here, you see? And so he will be back here with his group as of Saturday. I don't know why he's even going back home, but he's going to be back here. And they seem to be loved by the gospel community here in Grand Bahama. So they're going to be back. And then, of course, the Interdenominational Mass Choir, they're going to be backing all the pastors that take the stage that night. And then no concert is really complete without the sounds of the legendary Cooling Waters. And so the Cooling Waters will come and just take us home. Gospel is big in Grand Bahama. We're going to continue to support gospel music. What I wanted to say before I started was a month ago, we had a gospel media retreat on the island where we invited media persons from throughout the U.S. to come to the island. And the whole idea really was to sell the island to them. Mr. Charter Saint talked about sowing the seed and then reaping the harvest. Well, in this case, they were here a month ago, and a group out of that group wanted to be back here this week to do a conference. And they were advised, because of another conference that's taking place this week as we speak, and the pastor's concert, that it would not be wise to come now, and they will be back here in June, just 2 months after coming here for a media retreat. They're coming back. Hotel rooms are already booked, and the numbers are increasing. So, gospel is something that attracts people. It attracts people from all over the world, and we have a unique product, even in gospel music. Thank you so much, and I hope to see as many of you this Sunday night at Calvary Temple.
Thank you, Derek. It's going to be an exciting time, and no doubt we're looking forward to coming back. He asked why I'm going home. I left my singing cap home so I could go home, get it, and come back. Thank you, Derek, for that. Okay, we're going to bring on our vendors. Before we do that, I must take a couple of your questions, because I know you have them. So let's do that. Anything for me from Our News, while you're starting it off. Bertha McDermott, Our News, anything for me?
Yes, Clint. My first question, what was the cost of the trip to London that the government went on for the coronation of King Charles?
I've made a request for that, and so I'm waiting for them to send that information to me because it is a question people are asking. And so we're going to hopefully get that information, those figures, and I'll present those to you once we get them.
Has the cruise port that's, I think, set to open this week fulfilled its obligation to invest $8 million towards downtown beautifications? If not, are you able to say when that's going to happen? I know Minister Campbell shed light on it in Parliament yesterday.
Yeah. So what happens with that $8 million is a part of the agreement for the cruise port. A part of the agreement is that once the cruise port is open, they have a year to fulfill the obligation. So they have 1 year once they open officially to fulfill the obligation of the $8 million. And the purpose of the $8 million will be to inject into small businesses in the area, particularly to help with their growth. And that should happen within the first year once they're open.
He also expressed concern that the port will, I guess, cause the death of downtown businesses. Has there been any assurance that this will not happen, or to ensure that those businesses thrive as well once the port is open?
Good question, Bertha. It's actually on the contrary. Its expectation is these businesses will be boosted because of the opening of the port and the redevelopment of the port. It's going to spill over to vendors in the downtown area. Speaking to the Deputy Prime Minister, who's the Minister of Tourism, Chester Cooper, he's actually very excited about the possibilities for the business in downtown area. It's going to be a larger revitalization that's taking place that the ministry is doing with the Downtown Partnership and Board. You're going to see a revitalization of downtown. So we believe that businesses in the downtown area will see revitalization because the entire area will be a part of that. As you can imagine, what happens with visitors when they go to destinations, people don't just want to stay at the cruise port. If you take a cruise to go to certain countries and destinations, you want to experience the culture of it. And so we believe that people will spill out, as they always do now. And if you have a better product, you have a better service, people are going to come and want to find out about it. So we believe that it will have just the opposite, positive benefit to people coming out, wanting to experience the culture, wanting to experience the destination. But we're encouraging people to make sure that their products and services are up to par, and that there is something that can attract people. Because the question is always, what do you do when you come out of those gates? And so the Ministry of Tourism is working with businesses downtown to ensure they can revitalize, and with this added injection to help them get the necessary upgrades they need to improve their businesses and to see the same kind of success. All right, thank you, Berthany. Let's take some questions. Anything from me from ZNS? Ms. Quant.
Thank you, Clint.
Right.
We're hearing about an audit at the City of Freeport Council, $165,000 misappropriated on roadworks. The audit was concluded on Thursday. What are the findings of that report?
We're not aware of the report. The report is not in our hand as yet. Neither is the Minister of Grand Bahama. She hasn't seen it as yet as well, so we can't speak to something that we've not seen as yet. We're hearing out there that this is some report, but her agency hasn't gotten it yet. We haven't certainly gotten it at the Office of Prime Minister. We probably have to follow that down with local government and see if they've gotten anything and what their response is to that.
Okay. And ease of doing business is still a challenge on Grand Bahama. What are the government plans to address that?
As you would have heard Minister Grand Bahama say earlier this week, greater dialogue. The important thing is dialoguing with the port to ensure that there's a better flow of information and what the challenges are, and making sure those challenges are actually addressed. But even before you deal with the port side, government has to put some things in place to ensure that doing business with the public service is more efficient. That's why you have seen the Public Service State Minister Pia Glover Roll making frequent trips to Grand Bahama, shoring up the public service, shoring up to ensure that they deliver to the Bahamian people, their number one customers. The level of service needs to happen to ensure that businesses are done in a more efficient manner. I think people have to understand that in the public service, it's not necessarily the process. Sometimes it could be challenges of people just not moving as fast as they should to get things done. And so that requires a shift in mindset that we understand that the Bahamian people demand a certain level of service. They are our chief customers. We have to deliver that to them on a regular basis, not based on how you feel, but based on what is required by the government. And so it requires shoring up that, improving with training, customer service, to ensure that the ease of doing business is not being hindered because people are just not doing the work in a timely manner. So there's considerable focus on that. The Minister of Public Service is keen on it. Minister of Grand Bahama is partnering with her as well and partnering with the port to ensure that there is a better flow of services, and you'll see that soon.
Hurricane season is approaching very soon. The government promised to ensure shelters would be ready. Many of them still reportedly compromised. Any updates?
We understand that they have been assessing a number of shelters. From when we spoke to the shelter manager, she would have said, Ms. Andrea Sweeting, that there are some 22 shelters in Grand Bahama. Central Grand Bahama has 14, West Grand Bahama has 8. Now, all of these shelters were inspected and they were deemed suitable. So the good news is the more shelters are being bought online, right? Because we know that many of them were compromised after Dorian. We now have more shelters online. There's always a need for more, but that comes with ensuring that the proper checks are in place to make sure people are safe, to make sure that they have access for those who are disabled, to make sure that certain components exist first before a place can be deemed a shelter. That's happening consistently, and they're working towards ensuring that there are more shelters. And that's why I always tell people, as we head into the hurricane season, you got to PRAY more than ever before, because some things take longer to happen than others, and we don't want to be left in compromising positions where people are left vulnerable. So we're trying to get things back up to where they should have been pre-Dorian, but it takes some time. But there are shelters in place that can accommodate people should there be a need for emergency. All right. Denise Maycock, Tribune. Hi, Denise.
Hi, Clint. We've had various reports about the award of the prison contract. Can you give a definitive account of how that contract was awarded and the extent to which it followed the Procurement Act, the Public Procurement Act?
Okay. Now, first of all, just to clarify, no contract has been awarded under this administration. All right. There is no contract awarded. This has been a continuous process that has been carried over by 3 consecutive administrations. It began the late Dr. Bernard Nottage under the Perry Christie administration, continued with Mr. Marvin Dames under the Hubert Minnis administration, and it's continuing now under the Philip Davis administration with Minister of National Security, Wayne Munro. And each administration is building on what has been left by its predecessor. And this is one thing you can probably boast about where there's not been a stop or a cancel. It's a continuation. And so each administration is building on what has been left already. The Walkers group was already in discussions and brought on by Minister Marvin Dames back then, and they continue. There's a continuation that has been saved 18 months of work. Had this been stopped, you'd have lost 18 months. It's continuing, but these persons you would have been referring to have been put in place by the previous administration. This administration is building on it and is advancing it, expanding it. So just for clarification on contract and procurement, these things would have been in place already.
Can people affected by the recent Privy Council ruling who provide DNA test results showing paternity currently go to the passport office and get a passport?
Okay, so what's happening right now is Cabinet is about to meet on this to determine the course of action, how it'll happen, and when it'll begin. We understand that's going to happen very soon. I don't want to say which Cabinet meeting, but it's going to happen very soon. It's top priority, and once Cabinet has met on it, they'll announce when the process begins and how the process will operate.
Final question. What is the status of the Department of Labor's investigation into the Atlantis, complaints from the employees?
Nothing new based on what the minister would have said on Tuesday in his cabinet briefing. We have nothing further on it at this time. All right, thank you. Barbara Joaquin, hi, Guardian.
Good afternoon
Freeport
again.
News, sorry.
Mr. Watson,
Yes.
has there been any communication? We know the Grand Bahama Port Authority has been instrumental in removing the portions of the International Bazaar and in preparation of, bringing in new business or a new project there. Has there been any talks with the property owners of the Royal Oasis, and how soon, I know Minister Cooper alluded to it, how soon can we get that road open? Because he says Minister Moxie has been pressuring and pushing for that road to be open.
Minister Moxie can answer that question. I ain't even trying to get into the Grand Bahama thing. Honestly, she would be the one, and perhaps you can talk to PS Oh, he's gone too. You can probably talk to PS afterward. I don't have any information further on that particular issue, but we can get the answer for you regarding that. I smart, I stay in my lane. Any other questions? All right, good. That's it. Thank you so much, Press. And to my favorite segment, the food vendors. Listen, we're so happy to feature 4 of them today here in Grand Bahama who are making a difference. I want them to come and tell us and talk to us first. I'm going to invite Avery Poitier from Mini Donut King to come and talk to us about their business and tell us a little bit about what they have for us. Come for me.
Hello, Bahamas. I would like to finally introduce you guys to Mini Donut King. We are a mobile food trailer. We are operating in Grand Bahama right now. We serve hot and fresh donuts, and we are ready to serve the public. We have the #1 donut place in Grand Bahama right now, so she'll let you know about the flavors and what we offer.
We're the first, like Avery said, we're the first made-to-order donut truck on the island. We serve our donuts hot and fresh. So when you order your donuts is when they are made. We recently launched our line of larger donuts in custom boxes, which we're really excited about. We were inspired to open our business during the pandemic after Hurricane Dorian, when the pandemic struck, is when we got the idea. As we traveled, we would see persons coming from the larger donut chains with boxes in their hands off the airplanes, and we were inspired to give Grand Bahama something that was unique, something that was fun, and something, that they would appreciate. So we decided on opening a donut trailer.
Where can they find you?
You can find us at the Freeport Food Trailer Park. We also update our hours and our locations on our Instagram page because we frequently move around.
Tell us what you have today for us.
So today we have a line of donuts. We have Oreo donuts, some of the larger ones. We have s'mores donuts. We have apple pie, funnel cake, lemon drop. We have lots and lots and lots of donuts in the larger size as well as the smaller size.
And we are mobile, so events, parties, caterings, we are available. So thank you.
Thank you. And this is a husband-wife team, I'm correct, right?
Yes.
I was scared a second. And mommy as well. All right. Thank you so much. Well, I was scared. Thank God they are married. Mini Donut King. Our next vendor we want to introduce you is called AVS Catering. And I want to invite Alicia Smith, Acacia Road, thank you, and Patrick Cartwright to come and tell us about AVS Catering. That's this delicious setup here, right? Yeah, come on and tell us about your business.
Minister of Grand Bahama, the Honorable Ginger Moxie, Press Secretary, Mr. Clint Watson, senior government officials, members of the press, other invited guests, good afternoon. It all started in 2015 when the dream of AVS, Alicia Vernez Smith, that's me, catering, became alive. From time to time, I would cater to weddings, funerals, on my days off from my current job at that time. I was slowly building my dreams. In 2020, the world came to an abrupt stop, causing businesses to close, causing families to mourn, and causing the future to feel so uncertain. Like everyone around me, I was terrified. I did not know where my next dollar would come from, as my back was against the wall. Surprisingly, my long-awaited prayer was answered after I was fortunate to having people inquire about purchasing my food during the pandemic. From there, AVS rebirthed. And now my dreams was becoming a reality. This morning, we are featuring 6 of AVS's most popular dishes: guava cream cheese waffles, buffalo ranch chicken sandwiches, seafood fettuccine, signature cheeseburger and chicken wraps, sweet garlic chili wings, and our Don't Eat Then sushi roll, inspired by my slogan on my back. On behalf of the staff of AVS Catering, we would like to thank the entire Office of the Prime Minister for affording us the opportunity to provide our services during this momentous occasion. There is a quote that I have always lived by. Proverbs chapter 18, verse 16. A man's gift will make room for him to bring him before great men. Once again, we thank you and God bless.
How can they tell them how they can find you?
You can find me on Instagram at AVS_catering. I'm actually home-based, so my cell number, well, I have a bunch of flyers and business cards, but 441-2766, and then also on Gmail, so it's AVS Catering, 441-2766 at gmail.com. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Let me tell you, they say things are grander in Grand Bahama. If you see the setup here, I see what they mean. Things are definitely bigger and grander in Grand Bahama. Thank you so much, AVS. Our third food business focusing on today is Liberty Vegetarian Takeout and Juice Bar. I'm calling Jamal Roll and Julianne Mainville to come and talk about this juicing experience here on Grand Bahama. No one can juice like Grand Bahama. So come on. Come and tell us about juicing.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Jamal Roll. I'm the owner of Liberty Vegetarian Takeout and Juice Bar. Liberty opened its doors in October 2009, so we have built a beautiful brand here where we offer the greatest, world's best smoothies. We are known for our smoothies especially, and a variety of vegetarian meals, you know. We have been trying to be proactive, I should say, with our health because our country is plagued with chronic illnesses, so we try to encourage the public to eat healthy stuff, you know, incorporate it in your diet so that you could live a more fruitful life, I should say. Today we'll be offering samples of our freshly made juices like carrot juice, sorrel, lemon and ginger, carrot juice, and also our mango sea moss. And we'll also be preparing our flagship smoothie, which is the alkaline smoothie, and the Incredible Hulk, a grain smoothie. We are located in the Raven Mall and also on East Sunrise, Out to Sea. By Out to Sea, we have a booth there as well. And we can be reached on our social media handles. Instagram is Liberty_1, or on Facebook, Liberty Vegetarian Takeout and Juice Bar. We also have a food trailer that we do events in. And yes, we have a saying, be smart, eat smarter. So thank you guys, and I hope you enjoy the samples we have for you today.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you. All right. And our final vendor this afternoon, of course, I'm excited about this one, is called Donna Teas. And Donna Williams, Anne Rines Johnson, and Tristan Campbell come and talk about Donna Teas. Exciting.
Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, Bahamas. I'm Donna Williams, founder of Donna's Tea. I first started Donna's Tea in 2020 and was inspired by my grandfather. Every summer, my mother would send us to Andres, Mangrove Key Andres, and that's where my grandfather would always make these delicious bush teas for us to drink. As little children, we didn't know how beneficial they were. I continued the business. I continued doing the bush teas as an adult for my family. But one Sunday at church, I took the teas for my pastors because I'm the one that make the bush teas for my pastors every Sunday morning. So I gave them the fever grass, ginger and lemon, of course, one of the best. And we had a tea party at church. And everybody tasted the teas, and they were like, you need to sell these teas. So that inspired me to do Donna's Tea. And these are some of our flavors. I'm going to let my son read the flavors for you.
Some of our flavors are passion fruit medley, soursop medley, fever grass, ginger, and lime, sorrel and ginger, turmeric and moringa, carrot juice, and many, many more. We have a lot of health benefits that goes along with it. It can help reduce blood pressure, boost your immune system, helps with diabetes, helps prevent heart disease, is anti-inflammatory, menstrual cramps, and just so many more beneficial stuff that goes along with the teas. The best thing about our teas is the flavor. A lot of people comment and love the taste of it. So we want you to come on down. You can normally find us at the farmers market, or you can call us at 646-1177. You can find us on Facebook at Donna's Tea, or on Instagram at Donna's Tea. So thank you very much. We'll be glad to serve you at any time.
Thank you.
Thank you so much to all of our fall vendors. As you can tell, Grandmama is certainly becoming grand again. Thank you so much for spending, I know we went over time, double our time today, but hey, we're in Grand Bahama. That's our press briefing. You know how to reach us at the Prime Minister's press office. If you have any questions or concerns, you know how to reach us. Good afternoon. Come in.